I was actually very stupid. I was actually very dumb. Or let's just say it didn't occur to me. And the guy was like, drop your bag now and hold it properly. Hi my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Brooks, and on this channel I get to share with you how I navigate my life as a young adult, the experiences that I've had, the lessons I've gained from those experiences, and we do chat. And today is our first time we are doing a story time. Guys, I am actually excited to tell you this story, and that's because I have fully recovered from it. So guys, yes, I was robbed in Lagos inside Danfo. Wow, it's a ghetto experience, to be honest. And let's just get right into the gist, guys. Let's just get right into the gist of today, guys. So this is about the second time I have been robbed in Lagos. The very first day I landed Lagos, I was robbed. Like, they just took the phone from my bag, and I was just looking, like I was literally shouting, and everybody just shifted away from me. It was like, I'm not the thief, I'm the victim. But I guess that's what Lagos does to a lot of people. It's like you become very, you become very aware of your environment, that even if people are shouting ole ole ole, you're trying to protect your own bag in case they are shouting to distract you, kind of thing. So yeah, this is the second time I've been robbed in Lagos, and let's just get right into the gist of this second time. So I was after work on that day. That was Wednesday last 2 weeks. I went to work. I work in different places in Bagada. That's where I had my Wednesday job. And when I was done, I left. I was pretty done early on that day because I started early, so I left early enough. And I just stood by the roadside, my usual thing. And I was hailing at the buses, beg out or whatever, like to take me to my location and stuff like that. I was just, when I see buses, I'll call where I'm going to. And if they were going my way, of course they'll stop. If they're not going, that's like the typical thing that happens. That's usually what happens. And I crossed over to the service lane after standing on the express for such a long time, I had to go to the service lane just in case there was a bus that was going my way and it's taking that particular lane. And when I crossed over, I saw this car, and there was a man in front on the passenger seat. So there's a driver, there's a man in front in the passenger seat, and then there's a woman at the back at the owner's seat. No, sorry, not at the owner's seat, behind the driver. And guys, if you've lived in Lagos long enough, you have certainly heard stories where people would try and tell you, oh, there's dollar at the back. They'll tell you things like, oh, there's this dollar at the back of the car. I have some goods, or I stole money from blah 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 blah. I don't know if you've experienced that before. I have experienced it, but they did not catch me because I like to think that I am smart. Like, there's no conversation you will have with me inside the bus for me to feel comfortable enough to follow you wherever you're taking me to go and carry one money, or there's money in the booth, or da 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 da. Those kind of conversations, they don't get to me at all. So I saw that car, and I'm like, oh, I've entered this car a couple of times. I've entered cars like this a couple of times. So I avoided it. Like, I literally avoided entering that particular car. It was like it's like a taxi kind of car, like one of this Toyota Corolla or Camry or whatever it is. And just when I felt in my heart that, oh, you know what, I've escaped that. And then there's a Danfo that passes in front of me with a few passengers. And he was calling K2 and the other places, which is also towards my route. And I said, okay, I called where I was going to. And the guy was like, oh, I should enter. And I asked him how much. He said, is it 800 or 900? I said, no, 700. And he said, okay, I should enter, which is usually the normal thing. If he had said maybe 1.5, and then I said, oh, I have 700, and he told me to enter. And then I know that, okay, fine, let me fuck up. Like, I'm the one who actually messed up big time, because you can't just from 500 all the way down to 700. That's ridiculously, subsidized. And so I entered because, like, that's usually the normal thing. You enter. But I always avoid the front seat all the time. But this time around, I had already opened the front seat, and I didn't even give so much thought to it. I entered. Guys, that was where That was where I made the mistake. I entered the front seat. And so the guy was the conductor was trying to close the door, and I leaned against the door, and he was trying to close the door. He was trying to close the door multiple times, and he told me, "Oh, please, I should hold the door. That when they come down at something, he's going to close the door properly." He said, "No, hold the door." So I used my hands and I held the door at the, like, this is like the door, and then there's a top part of the door, so that I wouldn't fall off, because I was literally at the edge. I didn't want to fall off. So I held it, like, innocently. I held it, and the guy was like, "Drop your bag now and hold it properly." Like, and I honestly thought I was helping. Like, guys, like, let's even go back to when I entered the bus. I didn't see a lot of people inside this bus, and I just felt like, oh, it's one of those buses that they've not seen a lot of passengers. Let me just enter. I mean, I don't know if it was me pitying them, which is actually very stupid of me. Like, I don't know. I'm actually, God, I was actually very stupid. I was actually very dumb. Well, let's just say it didn't occur to me, to be honest. Like, it really didn't occur to me at the time. And so I entered the bus, and guys, I kept on holding the door for the conductor, because I don't know, and it kept on, there's this rod inside the bus, like at the door, and so he was pulling it this way, like he was pulling it forward, and also at the same time trying to close the door, and it didn't click, because I'm like, why are you pulling the rod that way? Usually, if you enter Danfo, you know that when they pull the rod that way for a bus that doesn't have the proper door handle, when they push it that way, it is sorry to open. But he was pushing it that way and still trying to bang the door, and I did not even get what he was saying. Meanwhile, guys, like, my nails. I did not even get what he was saying, and he kept on banging the door, like, come on, and told me, drop your bag and do it properly. And guess what? I put my bag in between my legs, and I moved forward so that I can hold it properly until where he gets to a particular stop. Guess what, guys? He had gotten to Charlie Boy, and he didn't use the service lane. He was supposed to use the ram close to Anthony and then take the service lane to Charlie Boy. I think, I don't know, I hope I'm right. And he did not. Guys, he did not use the service lane. How are you going to find passengers on the express when the very next bus stop is Charlie Boy, where you're supposed to find all your passengers? He did not stop there. And guess what? I was already distracted, busy holding the door. When he now got to Charlie Boy, I was holding my bag in between my legs. After a while, he was like, drop your bag now by your side so that you can hold the door properly. And of course, I wouldn't have dropped my bag by my right, because I'm close to the door. I'm at the edge of the door. Any mistake, my bag might fall off. I dropped the bag by this side. And then the guy that was sitting down beside me, so the passenger seat, usually in a bus, can take 2 persons. So the guy who was sitting down beside me shifted forward. I thought maybe he was trying to make sure that my bag doesn't disturb him. I thought it was just another passenger. I did not think anything otherwise. And so when he got to Newcastle, is it Newcastle now? Is it Newcastle that he got to, or Charlie Boy? I think when he got to Charlie Boy, by the express, he now started calling passengers. No, he didn't call passengers at that time. Oh my God, like, stay with me. I feel like this story is all over the place. But when he got to Newcastle, let's use Charlie Boy. When he got to Charlie Boy bus stop, he moved a little bit further. And for me, I just felt like, I didn't think, I'm busy holding the door here. So if I wasn't holding the door, it would bother me that he's not carrying passengers. But I was holding the door, so I didn't even really check where we had gotten to until we had gotten to that point. And then he started calling people to enter the bus, and I was still like trying to hold the door. I think he came down. I think the conductor came down at that point and tried to fix the door himself. Guys, after that, he asked the driver to reverse a little bit to the bus stop, to the Charlie Boy bus stop. So you know that there's a bus stop, and then you can move in front a little bit, you still find passengers. So like if the bus stop is like, the bus stop can take up a space of 50 meters, or let's say 20 meters, and then people would keep standing up until 50 meters. So he had gotten a little bit further, and then the conductor now asked him to come backwards and carry his passengers. And then he carried K2, and then he carried Beggar. Guys, usually immediately I come down from it. No, hold on. I'm going ahead of myself. He carried beggar. And then I thought we were going to go. And then he now said, oh, why are you going to again? I mentioned. He now said, oh, don't worry, take your money. You're not going there anymore. And I took my money and it was complete. No, immediately I took the money. I checked my bag. No. Well, usually I check my bag whenever I come down from any vehicle. But I think now I'll have to be checking my bag just before I come down from any vehicle. So I collected the money. Then he took beggar. And I think the guy noticed I was going to check my bag because I had to check my bag, of course, to put the money back. And he gave me complete money, which is unusual. Guys, if anybody carries you in this Lagos here, if you enter any bus in this Lagos, and then you get to your location and then the driver, or you get to a particular spot and then the driver gives you your money back and tells you it's not going anywhere again, something has happened, because they usually don't give you your full money. I think that was where it clicked for me. So I checked my bag and I did not see my phone. God, I screamed. God, I screamed. I shouted. I was like, God, what's happening? I was like, that guy took my phone. I stood on the road. I blocked everyone. I was like, wait! I literally ran to the middle of the road and I was flagging down cars to just stop and pursue the bus. I couldn't find. There was no one. And then the agbero that was, the loader of the vehicle that helped him load a few people who were going to Ketu and Beggar, now told me to cross over to the service lane and then get a bus that is going to follow the guy. When I got the bus that followed the guy, because I followed this small bus, I was only to follow a car, because the car would definitely take the bridge that is leading you to Beggar from Yanoworo. But he said I should follow a bus. That's when I'm even thinking in my head that, well, all these people involved in all these things, because it's like, why didn't you let me follow the car? And I was like, no, I should follow the bus. And I followed the bus. And of course, the bus is going to New Garage. It's not going to Beggar. So I'm saying this story like you already know all these places that I'm talking about. I can't really explain how these roads are, but of course, that there's a bridge on this other side, then there's a ram on this other side. So that ram leads you to New Garage, while the bridge takes you to the express, and then you find your way to Beggar, which is the express road that takes me to my house. I cried, I screamed, I shouted. Okay, I think I couldn't even cry. I was shouting and panicking. I was so hurt. I was so offended. They didn't take any other thing, just my phone. And I felt so bad because everything that I have, like honestly, every single thing that I have is inside that phone. Like every single thing, all the scripts that I had written, all my content for YouTube, all the books that I had downloaded, all my notes, like literally everything was inside that bag, and it took it, inside that phone, and it took it. It took it. I found my way to New Garage. The bus helped me. I found my way to New Garage, and the guy just said, "You know what? Your phone is gone. I'm so sorry about it." Like he had noticed me from Charlie Boy when they dropped me. He noticed that there's something wrong. That he had guessed that's like one chance. They call it one chance. I was like, that's like one chance, and I was like, oh my god, like how could I be so clueless? Like I just trusted. I was just helping them hold the door. Like, what's up? Like, what's the meaning of this? I felt really bad, yeah. So I went to my friend's house. My friend stays in Bagada as well, very close to New Garage, and I went there. I went upstairs. He wasn't around. I sat on the stairs and I cried. Like I cried my eyes out. That was when I was finally able to just bring out tears from my eyes. I cried so much. When I was done crying, I just carried my bag and went to church. Fortunately for me, when I went to church, my church is very close. My church is in Bagada, Harvesters. I went to church and I was crying. I was just sitting out the East Auditorium and I was just crying. I was just crying. I met another friend and I told him, I got his phone, contacted my parents, contacted my friends, sent a message to some people on Instagram. I couldn't log into my own Instagram because it's like, I don't know what security thing I did. I don't even understand. Like, I couldn't even log into my Gmail. I couldn't log into anything because my phone is just, I don't know, like they have to send a number to my own like SIM, and of course the phone is gone with the SIM. So I couldn't. So I had to use someone else's phone. I contacted my parents, contacted my friends, and that very day someone offered to give me another phone. His name is IK, my friend, and oh my god, I was so happy. It was like, oh, you know what, give me a number that I can call you with. And just after a week, like a week after that, he was able to, look for his old phone, another iPhone, which is what I'm using to film right now, and it's just a little, like, it has a better quality, and it's like, a lot better than the previous one I was using. And I was really, really happy that he came through for me. Guys, like, whenever you see a bus and it's empty, don't pity those people. It's not because they're not see passengers. They're just looking for a target. They're just looking for someone they can rob. Don't do it. And if you are also going to enter a vehicle and it's a private vehicle, which I mean, I sort of, I don't have a problem with it, because if you live in places like Bega and further away from Bega towards Ogun State, you know that buses don't take you to the island. There are private cars that take you to the island if you want to take to the island directly. Even if you get to Bega, which is like the central bus stop here in Lagos, it doesn't really take you I don't think you can find buses as well. You would find the Sienna vehicles. So at the end of the day, you still have to use vehicles to get to the island from the mainland half of the time. So you have to be very careful. And whenever they start a conversation or they want to stop somewhere, like, oh, this woman, how could you? We're taking you to the police station because you have so and so in the boat. Just calm down. Like, you can just make sure they don't think you have already decoded what they are trying to say. You can just decide to say something like, oh my goodness, I forgot something somewhere, or I forgot my money. Oh my God, Jesus, I've forgotten something. And calm down, my sister, calm down, and they'll drive off. It has happened to me twice or 3 times. And guys, I have escaped it successfully. Nothing has happened to me before. I feel like the 2 times I have been robbed off of anything, it is because they took it without without me seeing it. Yeah, it wasn't a case of, oh, they jazzed me or something. No, it hasn't been a case of that. And I'm actually grateful for that. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that they didn't have to point a gun to my face, because I would have been completely terrified, guys. I would have been terrified. So I'm actually very happy about that. So guys, just watch your back. If you use public transport a lot, watch your back, guys. Like, watch your back. In fact, I wanted to say use Bolt more or use Uber more, like use all these services, these cab services more. But I guess you can't really say what's going to happen. You can't really control what's going to happen to you when you step out of your house. So as much as I suggest that you be careful, I feel like you should also pray that you don't land in the wrong hands. So guys, I'm actually okay. I'm okay now. And the past 5 days, I have been making outfits for my brand, and I'm wearing one of them. I tried out something really new, and I really, really, really love how it has turned out. Oh my goodness, I look so gorgeous. I look beautiful, guys. Like, I actually look very, very, very beautiful on this. So guys, from tomorrow you'll be able to shop this and other items that I have on you'll be able to shop all the items that I have. I wanted to say on the website, but like, I remember I don't have a website. But yeah, you can send us a DM on Instagram. My business page or my clothing brand is Etienne. It's after my very first name, which means money or wealth that comes from the right source. Girl, we don't steal here. So guys, I look forward to having you on board. And if you like this video, if you like this story time, please please a thumbs up, leave a comment, and please subscribe. I'm really hopeful that I'll get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. I don't even know. Like, I really, really want to get 1,000 subscribers this year. So guys, I'm looking forward to you subscribing, sharing, and getting your friends to subscribe as well. So yeah, bye. I still to do today's video. Yeah, I just wanted to be spontaneous a little bit. Yeah, so bye. See you.